welcome back to another video. Today I'm gonna be working with clay, and I got this idea because at the hardware store I found this thingy and I was like, a little cute swinging character could be hanging from here. So I want to make a cute little character out of clay, and I was thinking of putting this on my shelf at the very end. I'm gonna be sketching an idea down in Procreate so I kind of have an idea of what I'm going for. Okay, so let's do that. I'm gonna be starting the drawing with the bracket and all of the little detailings that I want to add to it. I'm kind of going for like vintagey details. Just realized I'm not very good at doing spiral shapes, so this might not turn out that great, but I'll try. Indeed I will, but I'm just gonna leave that for now and move on to the character. Can you imagine a sweet little fox swinging and sleeping at the same time? You know, that kind of sounds dangerous when I say it out loud. Hold on for dear life, buddy. And I also tried adding flowers and vines for more detail. Okay, I'm happy with this concept. I know that those flowers are gonna be a pain. Okay, I'm gonna put that to the side. And now it's time to move on to the part where I actually make the character. So we'll see how that turns out compared to my concept. Don't get attached to the concept because it completely changes in the end. So I hope you look forward to seeing what I actually end up making. Anyways, to make the character, I'm starting by scrunching up some foil. This helps reduce baking time and the amount of clay that I use. Yeah, that's good. I don't want it to be too big. Then I also make the body, and I just used my paint pot to compress the foil. I would like the character to sit nicely, so I have a little base for it to sit on. Got my lovely bag of Polymer clay. This is like 10 years old. Oh dear. Oh no, we have the remnants of an old character. Hello. So to start, I'm gonna flatten some clay, and I'm gonna use this to cover the foil ball, and this is going to be the shape for the head. I add a little muzzle and I do a lot of smoothing to get it all blended. I swear most of this process is smoothing. So cute! Then just moving on to the body, I do the same thing. So far so good. I just need to add some limbs and all of the details now. I'm going to start with the little thighs and again more smoothing. Then I move on to adding the little feetsies. By the way, I'm working on a gloss surface. This just helps keep the clay cold so that it doesn't start getting super soft, especially I am working with extra soft clay. I just prefer it over harder clays. I think it's from Sculpting. I'm not sure now because I removed it from its packaging. And after lots and lots of smoothing, I'm just adding some armature wire to make sure that the head and body stay stuck together and don't fall apart halfway through. If you're also wondering what tools I'm using, they're called silicone tools, and they just help with smoothing and making little tiny details. I love how it's coming out so far. I did have to guess a little the size of the head and body, but I feel like it does match really well. I tried adding a nose, but I ended up changing my mind. I don't like it. I'm just gonna paint the face on. Anyway, onto the arms. This is some guesswork as well because I need to make sure that the arms are enough lengths away so that it can actually hold onto the rope without it smashing into the face. I feel like I'm doing hand acrobats, and then I'm about to break my hand. Now to add the little hands, and after blending, I poke holes, and this is going to help give me a structure to thread the string through. I'm also just going to make the bench because I'm going to bake them at the same time. And I also poke holes for the thread as well. And now it's time to bake it. It's finished baking, but I have some tragic news. We have lost an arm. No! I'll have to do some repairs, and if it falls off again, then I'll just have to glue it. I also did end up burning the clay, even though I set it at the right temperature. I swear that oven gets hotter than it actually is telling me. As you can see, I also added some wire for the ears and the tail. Because they're such flimsy pieces, I don't want them to snap off. I also added some cute little ear tufts, and I'm also going to add some little cheek fluffs so it looks more like a fox. I don't want the clay to be too thick, so I'm going to add some foil into the middle so that it bakes easier. I feel like I struggled with these tails a lot because for some reason they wouldn't stay on properly, so I feel like I was fighting a battle. Maybe I didn't add the wire properly, but I tried my best. So they are a little uneven, but it's fine. I still love how it turned out. Now I'm just adding the arm back on with some clay. I wish in this moment that I had clay glue, but I don't, so I'm just hoping that it doesn't break again. Okay, and after letting that bake, I added some air dry clay into any little spots that I feel like needed more definition, and then I sand it all so that it's nice and smooth. Then I do the same to the little seat, and now it's time to gesso. So this is going to help give the paint a structure to stick to. And here's where the change comes in. Sorry everyone if you got your hopes up for flowers. But look, I found these opal stones while I was out shopping. And I thought, what if I made it dream themed? So there'd be like a crystal moon and a bunch of little stars. It's quite hard to see on camera, but they do reflect purple and it's so pretty. I'm just using some cookie cutters to cut out the moon shape. And I just temporarily press the stones into the clay so that when I paint it, I don't paint over the stones and I can just glue them in later on. Seeing how it looks, I also made some clay stars, but of course I didn't get that on camera. I'm not sure what my camera captured near the end of me using clay because it kept dying mid-art process. So this is what I've made after all of the chaos. I've made the arch and I've super glued it, and now I just need to gesso it, and I've also just gessoed the little gemstone pieces. I swear something always has to go wrong every time I'm making something. What else is gonna go wrong? I'll take on any challenge head on if it comes around. Moving on to painting the little moon and the stars, I'm using a nice little pastel yellow, and then I just use a pale blue for the stars. I'm also just painting on a piece of cling wrap because I don't want to mess the glass with paint because that is annoying to get off, especially it's pretty big, so I don't want to have to wash it. I wish you could see how nice it looks in person. Oh right, and this is where we're at with all of the pieces. Hello, my little glitter lemon. Hello. I'm just adding a thin coat of glitter onto the bracket and the little moon. And now we're finally onto my favorite part. I loved painting this little fox so much. I think this brown looks a lot better. I'm going for like a kind of yellowish brown, and the other one was more of like a deep reddy brown. It's a bit hard to see on camera, but in person it was yuck. By the way, I finally came up with a name, and it's gonna be something quite technical. I'm gonna call him Norem, which is the deepest form of sleep, and Rem. I just added an O so it actually sounds like a name. Then I'm just going in with a deeper brown for all of the little details. And halfway through painting the brown, I decided that I needed to blend the paws. So that was a last minute decision, but I'm really happy with it. Oh, and this face, oh, I just love it so much. It's so simple and so sweet. Now I'm just using some satin glaze to lock in all of the paint. And I'm just doing a thin coat because I don't want it to take forever to dry and it be too thick. I also added my signature, which I forgot to show. And look at this ribbon that I found. I thought it'd be so cute if Norem had a little bow. And I went in with some super glue to stop the edges from fraying. I also added a little Swarovski crystal to go with the opal gemstones. And here's all the pieces ready to be put together. I am in love with Norem. It turned out so much better than I imagined. I also just glued the little pieces on. And time to string all of the pieces together. I'm just using a bamboo stick to get the measurement right so that the strings aren't uneven. And threading it through the hands. But here's an issue that I didn't realize till I was stringing it through. Norem is too top heavy for the string, but I did figure out a way to hide that by tucking it behind his ears. Perfect. And I'm just gonna go on with some stuffing, and that's gonna hide any imperfections that I've made, so no one's gonna see it in the end. And I thought that him sitting on a cloud would be so adorable too. Now I'm just gonna take a spare bracket that I have, and I'm gonna take a template from it so that I know where on the shelf to hammer in the nails. And it's gonna sit there, just making sure that it lines up and just seeing what that looks like. Now it's finally time to hang him up, and here are the final shots. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!